today's a pretty big day, and it's really important because as much as you'll be on the computer for the most part, it's sort of safety. I'm going to be telling you guys, it's a severe review for a lot of you, so I'm going to go a little bit faster than normal, but as per normal, you get 100% on the safety test before you keep going forward with your class. So the notes that you'll be taking for the rest of the day, you can use on your test at the end of the day. So the better the notes you take, the easier that's going to be for you. But take it notes. Because I'll be talking about, I wanted to start off with a little bit of a video. I don't know if you guys have seen Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs, but Mike Rowe is a guy who went around all of the United States and a bunch of different countries too, and was some of the hardest jobs in the world. Now, when he was on these different job sites, he learned a lot of different things. So he shares a quick story, but he also kind of thinks about, he gives you his opinion about what safety kind of is. And so we do safety first in this class, and we try to think about that. But he has a really interesting take on it. I don't know if you guys enjoy it.
You know what that guy knows? Well, actually, he knows a great deal, but what he really knows is the importance of safety. You look around a place like this, you see it everywhere. Look at the sign up there. As if there can be any doubt. Safety first. Always, 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 over and over and over. But you want to hear the dirty truth? Safety is not really ever first. Safety generally, as best I can figure, is third. The reason I believe safety should be third is that it's so important, you can't really put it at number one. Because if you put it at number one and say it over and over and over again, you start to get complacent. And this is what's happened to me over the last 4 or 5 years. I've broken fingers, fractured toes, cracked ribs, and fused my own contact lenses to my eyes once. And every single time I've hurt myself, it's always been in that fraction of a moment where I take my eye off the ball and I start to think that maybe somebody somewhere cares more about my well-being than me. It is always a mistake to let that happen. And the more banners you see reminding you of how important safety is, for me anyway, the more complacent I become. So on the Dirty Jobs crew, we started to say safety third, just to remind you that ultimately it was on you. I'll tell you a story. About 3 years ago, maybe 4, I was on a crab boat called the Bountiful up in the Bering Sea, fishing for king crabs with those lunatics up there, right? And we were about 200 miles off the coast of Russia. The wind was blowing about 40. The seas were easily 35 feet. And the crew was out there working, and I was out there with them, trying not to get killed. And I went up on a stack of crab pots that were stacked on the back of the boat, and I was helping unlash them, and I was scared less. I mean, very, very frightening. And eventually I just couldn't take it anymore. I scrambled down off the pots, down to the deck, and I went up to the wheelhouse, and I went in, and the captain is hunched over the wheel. He's doing his thing, and the green water's coming over the bow, and it's just so ridiculously hazardous. I looked at him, and I said, Cap, OSHA? And he looks at me and says, OSHA. Ocean. And we had a little laugh. And I'm like, no, seriously, I've been all over your boat. I don't see any signs about safety. I don't see any special guards or rails. What's going on here? And he said, son, I'm the captain of a crab boat. My job is not to get you home alive. My job is to get you home rich. You want to come home alive? That's on you. I got it. In that moment, I got it. Nobody was looking out for me other than me. I spent every second on that boat grabbing on to every single thing I could and not letting go. I put safety first, second, third, fourth, all the way down the list. I never took my eye off it. So it's not that we don't think safety is the most important thing. It's just that when you keep saying it's first, you gotta wonder where everything else falls into place. Don't be that guy. Be careful. Safety third. Always in the top 5 anyway. That's very true.
Yeah, what was the big takeaway there? What do you think?
Safety third.
Yeah, why did he say safety third?
No, just basically to assist people in saying that safety needs to be something that they have to do themselves. I guess just in general, people, it's always conveyed as being first, you're always assuming everyone is looking out for you and everything like that, whereas if it's third, something that is lesser, not quite as important. It's essentially saying that you have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's the big one. So one of the words that you said in that sentence that I really picked out was assume. Now, Mr. Bunkert and I take a lot of time to make sure that these rooms are clean and safe for you. Now, Bloomington also has a super awesome safety officer who goes through all the rooms and makes sure that all the sprinklers are working too. So there's a lot of things that are in place already to help you be safe. But it's up to you to take it seriously when you're working on different things to be safe for yourself. Now, as we go through this PowerPoint, like I said, since it's a review for a lot of us, I want you to take as good of notes that'll help you remember what you need to. We're going to take the test at the end of the class, and you can use your notes on it. So, seriously, I'm going to go slow. All of your notebooks up to the note page. We're going to start. If you don't have a notebook, don't hang it from us though. Sorry. You have to use notebooks. Number one, always wear eye protection. Now, eyes are pretty cool and they actually can heal pretty fast, but if you cause severe damage to them and you're not wearing safety glasses, they do not come all the way back. So always wear eye protection. These glasses that I have on my head, they don't even count. You need to make sure that you're using something that's a plexiglass, something that's a little bit stronger than just normal glass, or plastic. So, safety glasses count. Your own do not. What's the next one? Always ask for my permission before you enter the tool, or if you're in a different shop, who's ever in charge of that shop. Ask them permission before you use the tool, because they might know something about it that you might not. Like, hey, this tool's broken, this one's not sharp, here's a better one. And that gives you what you need. So, get the instructor's permission, and use the equipment. I'm going to be giving you guys a little hint throughout the or throughout these notes, so this is for those two. Chris, use the tool and equipment only when I'm in the room. So, again, as we're growing up, a lot of the times you might not have experienced using some of these different tools. The instructors, the people that are in charge in the shop, normally have. So if an emergency happens, they might know the immediate response is how to fix it. So it's always good to wait before you use any power equipment. The last one on this page, report all accidents, near accidents, or injuries to the instructor, no matter how small. Even the smallest cut with an X-Acto knife can get affected, and that can become a major tell the instructor if a tool seems dull or broken or is not working properly. Do not attempt to use it. One of my sixth graders this morning said, Mr. Nelson, there's a saying that never use, or a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. I was like, oh, that's super true. I've heard that too. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you think a dull knife can be more dangerous than a sharp knife?
Because it uses more force than a sharp knife.
Yeah. So when you're using something dull, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta cut through this cylinder, you're gonna have to push harder. Everything breaks. So if the harder you push, if that breaks, you have a blade that comes sailing back. Now my friend Cody has been working in his garage a lot lately, and he was using an X-Acto knife, it's one of those bigger razors, to cut insulation. This happened about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he didn't switch out the blade, and it actually broke and it snapped and it cut his chin or his cheek right here. So luckily he had safety glasses on, but that could have been really bad. So never, never, never use a dull blade. Broken. Don't use it. Another word for broken is defective. You might have the chance to go into a whole bunch of different shops and mechanical places in your lifetime. Never use a piece of equipment until you understand how it works. Until you've been taught or instructed how to use a piece of paper, or not a piece of paper. And it's a piece of equipment. Don't use it. Wait till you're instructed how to use something. So just like today, I have a long sleeve shirt on. As it gets colder, we'll probably be wearing longer sleeve clothing, heavier clothing, things like that. Keep it tucked in, keep the sleeves rolled up. It's pretty easy to get caught. Most injuries actually happen from pieces of clothing or loose jewelry or getting caught in things. So make sure you have the sleeves rolled up, loose clothing and tucked in. So that's when I have a little bit of a story. So my friend Kurt just bought a new motorcycle, Honda Shadow, this summer, and he was working on the headlight, it wasn't working properly. And when he turned on his motorcycle, he has really long hair, almost down to his waist. When he turned on his motorcycle, at the front of the motorcycle, there's a fan that blows air and cools down the engine. His hair got sucked into that fan. And he lost about 4 inches before he could turn off the engine. So always tie your hair back. Now, some of us have short hair. If it's something you can pull back and put in a ponytail, tie back. The last one I'll show you guys another story. My friend Jake works for a hydraulic company, and 3 of my friends work for hydraulic companies. Hydraulics are used in a whole bunch of different things to make ton of tools. And my friend stopped wearing his wedding ring for some reason, and his wife was really upset with him. Like, well, what happened? He said, well, at work, one of his coworkers got a hydraulic press, started squishing, and it got stuck on his ring. Now, luckily, it stopped at the ring, but he had to get his hand out. He did not leave work that day with all the skin on his finger. So do not wear any rings, jewelry, bracelets, anything loose in this room. If you have watches, that's okay, but anything that is loose, like big hoop earrings, necklaces that hang down, they need to be off. Bracelets either. We have hair gloves should only be worn when handling hot materials or rough lumber. Or rough lumber. Yeah, stuff that can give you splinters. The tables you guys are sitting at, that is finished wood. It has something that's on it that's protecting it, so you're not gonna get splinters from it. But if you're handling something that's a little bit more rough, you probably wanna wear gloves. But we don't wear gloves all the time because they are kind of a loose clothing piece. We only wear gloves when handling hot materials or rough lumber. That's one took me a little bit to understand because I was like, I can understand. But open-toed shoes and are not allowed around tools. Now, I never really understood this until stuff started falling into my sandals when I was working at the University of Minnesota. And when you're cutting stuff, things get hot, especially if you're cutting metal. If those get into your shoes, sometimes it's hard to get out. So don't burn yourself on it. So always wear protective shoes. That's my hint, wear protective shoes. And when I was working for the Minnesota Academy of Audiology, those are the people that make work with hearing aids and do a lot of hearing tests and actually come to school sometimes. They want you to have your hearing. As much as their job relies on people not having good hearing, they always give out hearing protection. So wear ear protection around loud or noisy equipment. Want to enjoy your music longer than just 20 years. Wear hearing protection. As much as we can't see inside our ears and how our brains are able to process that now, we also don't see inside our lungs unless you have the opportunity in the hospital inside. These are very important. We don't see them. We gotta take care of them though. We all need to breathe. So whenever you're around dust, same with aerosol and other finishing things, which is the next point, you wanna be wearing some sort of mask. Breathing in that dust can cause infections in your lungs, and that's a major problem. So wear a mask whenever you're around dust, especially wood dust. So does anyone know what a finishing material is? Yeah, stains. Things that you use to stain or lock in and protect from like water damage and stuff. Whenever you're using finishing materials, you always want to be in a well-ventilated area. Now, Mr. Bunker told me that this section of the building actually has a separate AC system. So a lot of fresh air is pumped in here as much as possible. But even then, you still want to do like spray painting outside whenever possible. Those fumes are very dangerous to your lungs. So if you spill something like a finishing material, you want to clean it up immediately. So clean up spilled things immediately. As much as we're on carpet, it's still gets slippery. So I just want to give us a little break. Take a walk up. I'll show you another kind of funny video of this group that actually has a group of OSHA officers come in and check their work site. Now, OSHA stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Association, and these people make sure that the buildings that we're in, for the most part, are safe. So, like I said, we have an awesome safety officer who works with OSHA quite a bit. Make sure that a lot of stuff in this building is safe. Now, it's pretty silly. The sound gets a little crackly, but I think it's pretty good.
What do you think I'm noticing over here? Well, that bloke not doing a lot of work. Hey, get back to it, seriously.
There is no safety barrier? Now, what happens if I just step off the edge?
Mate, you're naked.
And this gentleman here,
Yeah, Trev.
could you please point to one piece of protective clothing he's
Oh,
wearing?
God, look at this. What's that? Because if it ever gets sunny indoors, he's ready to go. No, you really.
He's not wearing a helmet. What if a girder was to fall on his head?
A few years ago, Trev had an operation on his brain, and they removed his skull and they put in an iron one made of metal. So he's effectively got his own hard hat.
He's supposed to be wearing steel cap boots.
Iron legs. A few years ago, Trev had an accident. Lost both his legs, and they're made of iron ones replacement.
Well, what do you call these?
Legs. That's why.
The boots on the bottom, mate, they're made of rubber. I mean, what's he going to do if a brick lands on him?
Yeah, but what happens if a beach lands on it? He's going to be prepared. You're always thinking about, the obvious stuff. What about, if he's around a pool?
Brilliant welder. Can we have a word with him, please?
Yeah, no worries. Hey, man, can you come down here a minute, please?
Okay, what do you think of noticing about this gentleman?
He's a man child.
He looks about 12 years old.
Yeah, straight.
What would a 12-year-old boy be doing on a building site?
Exactly, I wouldn't have one. Not on the fit.
Well, he looks 12.
He's 53.
I'm going to make this simple on you. Point to one thing that shows that you're taking workplace safety seriously.
Yeah, we've got a safety officer. Hey, Vinny!
Your safety officer is doing stunts. What message does this send your other workers?
That one day, if they work hard enough, they could be Vinny.
Okay, I'm going to make this even more simple. Could you give us one reason why we shouldn't shut down this site right now?
Look at these guys' faces. Do you want these guys back in jail?
Wait, what do you guys notice? What were some of the things that were wrong on that work site?
They were not in a bowl. He was not wearing protective shoes.
Yeah. Crocs on. Yeah, that's 12-year-old. For most construction sites, some residential places, like family or whatever, you need to be 18 years or older to work on those sites. So yeah, we're all working on this. What else?
The safety officer.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Now, those Bobcats are pretty fun to drive, but no, you can't use them for stunts. You have something else? So let's keep going. Only two more things. And then I'll keep it. So when you're cleaning up those messes that we were talking about earlier, you want to put them in a covered container, especially if they have chemicals on them. Those things can still leach up into the air and cause lung damage. So you want to put all rags, all used rags in covered metal containers. Covered metal containers. So like I said, the school tries their best to make sure that the place is safe for you. So there's not a fire extinguisher in this room because we have a hospital sprinkling system that should be working. If ever a fire happens in this room, you have a sprinkler system. But if you're in a different shop that you don't see sprinklers, try to find the fire extinguisher. Always know where they are. Especially if a lot of fires happen in the kitchen. Make sure you know the fire extinguisher. So this is for ease of motion. You will be mostly working on your computer, so there's not a lot of storage, but I will expect the 6th and 7th graders to give you a clean room. If you notice something's on the floor, ask your partner, ask someone around you, see if it's theirs, otherwise pick it up. That's probably the most dangerous thing in this room. Tripping. I don't want you guys getting hurt. So make sure that all the cabinet doors are closed and all the aisles are cleared of materials and scratch. Now, last year, did you have a chance to use the clamps or vice grips? Sure. So those clamps and stuff, whenever they're not being used, you need to keep them closed. That's one of the number one ways that those break things together when we're trying to glue them, screw them together, things like that. Make sure they're closed when they're not in use. And you can save them from breaking. Vices should be closed when not in use. The last one is kind of heading up with it. Make sure the room is organized and clear. Now, when you see the word benches, that's not benches you sit on. In a lot of wood shops, they'll actually call them work benches. So they'll be like tables. So work benches. Organized and clear. Now, I wish I would have followed this first one, because I actually got a cut the other day when I was cleaning up this counter rack over here. There's a ton of things that were glued onto it, and I was trying my best to clean it off, but I instead used my hand to wipe it off, and ended up with a cut on my finger here. Luckily, it's almost healed now. But make sure that you use a brush or a rag, and not your hand, to clean away the scraps and sawdust. Because when things get splinters, especially metal scraps, that can be affected pretty fast. I'm going to give you a hint on this one because I know the wording in the test is a little bit different. So tools should be used for their intended purpose. Now, intended is kind of what they were designed for. So use tools the way they were designed to be used. So if you have an opportunity to use a sharp object, knife, anything like that, vacuum knife, hold it by the handle. And make sure when you're walking around it's pointed down. That's more, not so because you want it to drop to the ground, but when it's walking around and moving around, the point's not going to stab someone if I bump someone by accident like this. Holding like this, absolutely good. Hold it by the handle, point facing down. When you're done with stuff, always put it back. Put it back where you found it. In the assigned area, the assigned storage area, generally. Go through storing something, probably where the assigned area is. And for that last one, always ask for help if you need to move something large. Even the strongest Olympians have spotters. They're lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and they still ask for help. So when you're carrying large things, this whole slide is kind of about electricity, so I like to think of this in the same way. Your nervous system is down your spine. It helps connect you to the rest of your body, so you can move your hands, your legs, your toes, things like that. So do not lift with your back. Always lift with your legs, because if you damage your back, that's a pretty easy way to damage your spine. Don't lift with your back. Lift with your legs. water is very conductive. Electricity always tries to find the path of least resistance. If your hands are wet, it makes them less resistant, so electricity will travel through it. So don't use or handle electrical equipment if your hands are wet. And the reason you get shocked for the most part is because the equipment is damaged. To report all damaged equipment, especially with the power cord, to the instructor. Now, luckily we brought a lot of the materials in here, and since we're using the computers, we checked all those cables. I did not find any damaged power cables. But if you have to unplug them, pull on the plug. Now, I know sometimes when I'm at home and I'm vacuuming my room and I'm like, oh, I don't want to run like 3 rooms over to unplug it, and I'll just yank on the cord. If you think about the power cables that you charge your phones with, most of the time they break at the point where the plug and the cable meet. That is the most common damage electrical. So make sure you pull it from the plug and not the cord. I don't know if Mr. Painter and Mr. Bunker told you. So this next one, always check for guards. This blue thing right here is protecting the blade. To make sure that there's not more exposed than is ever needed to cut anything. So always check for guards and other safety devices. I've been on a few construction sites where they will rip off these guards because it's more convenient to replace the blade. That is not safe. That's a quick way for it to break. Always check for the guard. And if we finish our test early today, which I think we're on time pretty much. I watched a video of these guys trying to make adjustments to a giant sander thing that was going around on the roof and it was going to smooth up the concrete. Now, the thing was spinning around and they could not figure out how to stop it. Now, if you look at the video, you can see a long cable that's going over to the power strip. If they would have just unplugged it to make adjustments, then they would have had a much safer time making that change. So disconnect the power anytime you make any adjustments. For your blades, the height, changing the drill bit, always unplug it. I kind of leave this one. Never adjust equipment while it's running. It's pretty obvious, but it's not quite a bit. Make sure you turn it off. So never adjust equipment while it's running. And my friend Emma, when I was up at the University of Minnesota, she was working in the wood shop, and up there, instead of having an on-off switch like our power tools do here, they actually have foot pedals. One that says stop, one that says go, and that helps allow you to use both hands when you're running the machine. She hit the stop button, but she didn't hit it hard enough. She was the last person in the shop that night, and it ran the whole night. Now, when you run equipment for a long time like that, because you don't wait until it stops, it got super hot, and the blade warped, and you had to throw it away. So make sure you stay with the equipment until it has come to a complete stop. That was a quick $70 workout. And when anyone's working, I don't think it was a distraction that caused that for her, but don't distract anyone. It requires your complete attention. I think it's kind of cool when you listen to people that have been working on different kinds of machines for a long time. They've paid so much attention to these machines that they know when it's going to break before it even happens. So if you have the opportunity to work through different things, I recommend that you use your full attention. You might hear something, you might see something before it breaks. Always work at the same speed and never fool around in the classroom area. We're not gonna be in a rush in here, like I said, for this class, we'll need a lot of patience because we'll be using computers. So we're gonna save speed even on the computer. Really quick to accidentally delete 3 minutes of work. We'll go slow. Make sure you save. And you're doing a great job of not doing it. Last one that Mr. Bunker loves saying all the time, use your common sense. Give all his lives up to this point. Experienced a lot of stuff, maybe different stuff than I have. You think something's dangerous, take a second to think about it. Now, with 8th graders, I have a few quick things before I review the test. This one's only like 5 slides. So this is doing stuff that 8th graders do not need to do. Bonus stuff, pretty complicated. Now, this was something that I thought was really cool, and I didn't know for a long time until my friend Alice, who works for the Bloomington Fire Department, showed me all these different fire extinguishers. There's actually 3 types that we use primarily. One, the A class, which is wood and paper products. So this is one that you'll see in most households, normally A. B is a flammable liquid one. You should have one of these in your kitchen. If you don't, I recommend it. You absolutely take to get one of these because oil fires are one of the number 1 problems in winter. Oil fires have a lot of cooking. So there are fire extinguishers for that. The last one is C class, which normally deals with electrical equipment. So there's 3 different fire extinguishers that you can use to put out fires. A, B, and C. Wood, paper, flammable liquid, so I know where to start. Now, when I was here from this, I thought that was super cool that they had those wood pedals. That's from years and years and years of people experience coming in and bringing all their tools in and then being like, oh, I gotta turn this thing on and stuff, turning on buttons. They're like, what's this use to? On. So if you have a chance to plan your project beforehand, things like this can help. You might figure out ways to be a little bit faster. Now, as designers who are on these computers, it is very important to take your time and be like, okay, I need to design this wall, I need to figure out these cords, I need to make sure I know where electric is, and the length and stuff, walls. Before you do that, take time, plan before you start. This is another thing that I asked Mr. Bunker for, because I cannot find a chisel to clean off all the glue on these counters, but never use a screwdriver. A lot of those have torque, they don't work in torque. You want to make sure that the screwdrivers are pushing down and twisting. Now, if you try to bend it, it will bend and break. Don't use them as chisels or fire. Here, another one. And we'll start by mixing here. Point it down. Clear. Essentially, for our frequency. Right. So for the rest of the class, time you have time to do the test. If we finish early, we'll be able to grade it together. You may use all of your notes. So keep those up. Around pass it up for you. We are 7 or 8 feet.
Thank you.
Try your best, take your time. If you don't finish it today, that's okay. We'll find that plenty later. If you need to read something or repeat something for you, please let me know. finished. Everyone else get ready. I'm gonna go over the test. Anyone else not finished? Or fine if you're not, so just listen up. Here we go. Number one. Circle the answers that you get wrong. I know a lot of times yesterday we're putting stars and stuff. Just circle the one that you got wrong. It's super easy to go. Number one, always wear eye protection. G. Eye protection. G. 2. Use equipment only with the instructor's permission. L. Number 3. Use the equipment only when the instructor is in the shop. S. Number 4. Report all accidents or injuries. 8. Number 5. Do not use defective equipment. T. Number 6. Never use the equipment until you have been properly instructed in its use. N. Number 7. Loose clothing can cause injuries.